Alright, hey guys, it's Teresa. This is my video part 2 about 10 things I've learned. These are the 10 things I have learned while wearing this brace that I have acquired. Number 1. It is uncomfortable laying on your back to sleep all night. Because of the way the brace is, I cannot lay on my side or on my stomach. And for someone who usually lays on their stomach, it is very weird, but I have adjusted and sleep pretty well while laying on my back. When it is hot, it becomes itchy and pretty unbearable. The straps are fairly comfortable. They do have cushions on them here and 2 on my waist, but they still become very hot and itchy, and they contain a lot of sweat underneath them, so it's not always very comfortable. I am wider than usual, and I need to be very careful where I walk. The downstairs of my house has some very narrow hallways, so I usually have to walk sideways, as well as when I go into the downstairs bathroom, which can be very frustrating. Dressing my lower body is difficult. Well, yes, that comes with the territory of having only one available arm. I've learned to, shimmy up my shorts and socks and everything onto my feet, but it's still very difficult, and it's something I just have to get used to. We take having 2 available hands for granted. While yes, it is, not everyone has 2 hands, not having use of both hands is very difficult. Yes, I can still move my fingers and everything, but I can't move my arm very easily. It's difficult for me to grasp things. I can't hold overly heavy things because it does put strain on the rest of my muscles. We don't realize, I think, how even holding stuff in your hand here is using the muscles of your entire arm. So it definitely is a lot harder to do things when you really only do have one hand available to you. My arm gets dry skin very easily while sitting in the brace. Because I am not taking regular showers and I can't often use lotion or wash down my arm, the skin does get very dry and peels off, and it itches like crazy. It's particularly hard to get the parts that itch that are laying right against the brace on the bottom where it's sitting, and higher up and on the sides and everything. So my arm is usually fairly uncomfortable, and I complain very frequently that it itches. I can't easily change my shirt. Most people change their shirts daily. I am doing mine maybe once every 2 or 3 days. Thankfully, I am not going outside and doing things that are making me sweat or causing my shirt to get overly dirty. So it may seem unsanitary, but I'm pretty much just sitting here making videos or on my computer. So I don't really see why I would have to change it every day. But it is a pain because I have to take the whole brace off. I have to keep my arm at this angle. My sister has to roll up the sleeve for me, put it over my arm, and then once we get it over my head, I can usually slip my other hand in and pull down my shirt. So it's a difficult process. It's hard to get comfortable while sitting. Because my body is tending to lean towards this way because of the weight, I constantly have to move this way, or if I'm lucky, I can find a chair that has an arm, and there's a little nut down here that helps to adjust it, and it'll sit right on the arm of most chairs, and that way it'll keep everything fairly level so I won't be tilting one way or the other. Otherwise, it does take a lot of energy from my core to keep me upright. It's hard for me to walk long distances for the same kind of reason, because my body is not used to having what I call this extra limb. It sits weird on my hips, so when I walk I'm kind of tilted a little bit. It digs into my back. It's not overly comfortable, but it is what it is. People consider me more disabled now just because of the brace. I don't particularly like going outside as is, regardless of the brace. If I'm not wearing, proper underclothing, and if I have, I want usually my cargo shorts on. I don't like going out in my sports shorts like I'm wearing. I almost always prefer socks and sneakers. So to basically alter my entire clothing, apparel, and not only to have this extra brace on where people can very easily see it, is very, very difficult for me. I'm very self-conscious about it. And people look at me weird, they shoot me weird looks. I do see them whispering, they point at me. Some people are nice and make conversations and then ask, or they say, that looks like it hurts. Well, it doesn't anymore, but it did. And it opens up conversation, and I'm not shy about my story of what happened. For being self-conscious, and having a giant brace on, people do consider me more disabled, and it makes me very worried. But I don't know why that bothers me. There's nothing wrong with being disabled as is. There's nothing wrong with having people stare at you. They just don't understand, and I need to keep in mind that they don't understand. But unfortunately, it is difficult. Prior to my accident, I had gone to see a video one of my friends had made for her senior high school project called The Soles of Our Feet. And it is about how being disabled still means you are a person. And I constantly have to remind myself even that just because I have this brace on doesn't mean I'm not a person. And seeing that film, watching it over and over again at home is helps me to remember that regardless of the fact that I will be getting this off, as someone who is currently disabled, I can still be a person, I can still have my dreams, I can still seek out the things that I want, and all this, these amazing things that make up being a human. I can still do all of that. I think the hardest part for me, unfortunately, is the fact that I wasn't born having reduced use of my left arm. So yes, having always had full use of it and now having very little use of it is difficult. It doesn't mean I won't regain it. So I'm temporarily disabled. So the film, her film that she made definitely helped me realize that yes, people are going to look at me differently, but that doesn't mean I have to look at me differently. Okay, so those are the 10 things I learned while in the hospital, my trusty medical journal here. I mentioned The Soles of Our Feet, so if you guys want any information on that, there will be links to her homepage on it and a Facebook link to the Facebook page of it down below. Contact her if you want a copy of it. Look at the trailer. I highly advise it. There is a showing coming up in Schenectady, New York. I advise everybody to go see it. It is a fantastic film. She did a great job doing it. Keep on asking questions about everything, and hopefully more vlogs to come. Bye guys.